The Texas Tribune has a sad story about the Texas Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller, and his recent absurd comments about Muslims. So he apparently is refusing to apologize for a post on Facebook that called for the atomic bombing of, quote, the Muslim world. That's adorably vague and broad, and remember, there are 1.6 or so billion Muslims in the world, but he wants to nuke, quote, the Muslim world. Interesting. Now, he claims that it wasn't him that posted it, it was one of his staffers. But then he also refused to apologize. So, oh, okay, so it was one of your staffers, but it's on your Facebook page, so naturally you're going to apologize, right? He's like, no. So that actually swings me back in the direction of, I personally think, well, he did post it. Because why else would you say, so if you're actually outraged by it the same way that everybody else was outraged by it when they saw it, what would your response be? So, okay, we're going to try to figure out who this was, fire that person, and yes, I apologize, that's ridiculous. That doesn't, back up my views, but it kind of does back up his views. And in the article on this on Raw Story, they lay out, as he said some other things that are really questionable and really concerning. Like he said, I don't want to leave my grandkids in a world that's run by the socialists or the Muslims. Okay, dude, we see you, we know the kind of person you are, just admit it. At least if you're going to be super bigoted, at least say, yes, I'm a bigot, and I'm going to defend my bigotry. But no, he can't do that. He goes into the tap dance. He gets caught, he's like, tap dance, tap dance, tap dance. Fuck your tap dance, how about that? So let me show you the picture here. It says, Japan has been at peace with the U.S. since August 9th, 1945. It's time we made peace with the Muslim world. And it shows a giant nuclear strike, a mushroom cloud. Okay, this is moronic in a variety of ways. First of all, spot the fallacy in this sentence, or spot the contradiction in this sentence. We need to destroy the Muslims because they're violent. We need to nuke the Muslims because they're violent, or because they're savages. We need to nuke the Muslims because they are savages / violent. See a problem with that kind of logic? We need to do sexual assault on these people because they're sex criminals. They're rapists. We need to rape these people. They're rapists. But see, don't you understand how you're not holding yourself to the same standard when you say something like that? So in other words, the thinking behind it is, we are the good guys by definition. No matter what we do is the right thing because we're us. So actions no longer matter, especially if there are actions. Okay, it's just a matter of tribalism. We good, they bad. We good, they bad. So we nuke them, but they violent. But you just said you want to nuke them. Isn't that a violent action? You can't use illiberal beliefs to defend liberalism because that doesn't make sense. That's a contradiction in terms. And that's exactly what this guy's advocating for. But the reality is he's not even for liberal ideas. He's for ultra-conservative ideas, which is clear because he's calling for nuking Muslims. But also, the other part of this that I wanted to bring up is, look at the attitude towards the nuclear strike on Japan. In some really, really stupid circles nowadays, it's like, it's not even viewed as like controversial. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, we nuked him. And? They think like, well, obviously it was right. You don't think it was right? Are you unaware that there are historians that have said about this, we didn't really have to do it, and also Truman himself, after the fact, said some really concerning things and really weird things. Okay, and there's some evidence that the Japanese were gonna eventually give up this idea that, like, well, if we didn't do it, there would have been an invasion of the U.S. mainland, and then, well, I mean, we had to do it because we had to save more lives. Pretty fucking weak argument. But even putting that aside, because we don't need to go into the weeds on that, the reality is, even if you're on the side of, yeah, we should have done it, at least have some fucking respect for the over 100,000 people who were killed as a result of that. Guys, I hate to break the news to you, we didn't nuclear strike military facilities. We attacked civilians. Over 100,000 people were killed. But the idea is like, aha, we were obviously right, and we've been at peace with them ever since. Again, it goes back to tribalism. No matter what we do, we're the good guys. So you can't criticize us when we call for nuking people or when we actually did nuke people. But we can say about you all the time, well, you're the violent ones, you're the evil ones, you're the terrible ones. And to show that you're so terrible, we're going to do terrible actions to combat it, but our terrible actions don't count because we mean so well. Well, no. In the case of this idiot Republican politician, you don't mean well, you're a dunce.